Greetings. You already joined. Kut 당시를 시키냐들 비례냐들리시. 비례래샤 비우시래샤. Mute. Someone mute. Wait, someone muted that mic. Mute Marsha. Oh my god.
Hello, good evening, everyone. If you are done with the assignment, please submit on the portal.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me, everyone?
Hello, good morning.
Hi.
Hello,
Hi.
yes.
Jasmine. Okay, everyone. So let's start today's session. Today we'll see topics regarding modern JavaScript because we need to use those concepts in React. Yesterday we just saw the concept. Okay, we haven't still practiced those things yet. We will do many data structure algorithm related questions which are essentially using yesterday's concepts. Okay, so don't worry, we are still gonna use in practical scenario. We are just exploring the syntax, what are the concepts, to which whether with array or whether with number or whether with object, those properties are used. We are just actually trying to know what are there and how can we use those things. Actually we will actually use as well in upcoming sessions, so don't worry, we are still using those concepts. Okay, so please you need to open your Replit today as well, so you can do the same thing in VS Code. Okay, let me quickly guide you how we can do the same thing in VS Code, and we can do there as well instead of Replit. Okay, yeah, and you can choose whether you want to do in Replit or VS Code. All right, just give me a moment and then I'll share my screen here. Okay. All right. So you can see my screen now. Is it available? I think somebody mess text me. I'll get back to you. Okay, after this session. So I'll just text back to you and then we can talk to resolve your query. So let's try to do some same thing in VS Code without React. So what you can do is create an empty folder. You can just follow me from here. Okay, you can create just a empty folder. So we are going to make three files there: index.html and CSS and JavaScript file. So you can say app or anything. Folder name can be anything. Okay, and let me open this one with VS Code. Now with VS Code here, I think uh, need to, okay, that's fine for now. In VS Code here, um, I don't have anything. Currently, you can see something called Go Live. This is the extension that we are going to install, and then we are going to actually open our live server. So let me make index.html here, and another file called, you can call it like style.css, and another file is app.js. This is the JavaScript. Okay, this is CSS, this is HTML. So in here, if you type HTML and click here HTML5, this will be generated automatically. Okay, this is the basic code that we need in HTML. We need head, we need body, right? We also saw that in React as well. And now how can we run this file then, index.html? You can do it either manually. You can go here and double click to this, sorry, not this style, double click to that index.html and maybe that will be opened. Let's see. And yeah, it's opened in Safari here, but you don't need to do that manually. Actually, within VS Code you can install some extension called the simplest one is live server. Okay, and just click here. This is the extension you need. Okay, so just go to extension and search for live server and install it. If it is already installed, that's fine. Otherwise, install it. And then just go here. Let me open another window for the browser. And let me put this side by side for now, okay? Put this on the left. Oh, I have a lot of things here. I need to select this one. And what you need to do is you will have live server, something called go live here, okay? If you install live server, you'll have something called go live, and just click here and it will be open in your browser. Currently my default browser is Safari here, that's why it is opening in Safari. Otherwise you can set this one. I'm setting Google Chrome as a default browser now. It will be open here. Now there is nothing, that's why it is blank. You can type anything here inside body, something called h1 hello, and save it. Now you can see whatever you are typing here is coming on your browser, means your server is live now. You are working on the live server, means you are changing something here and you are seeing the effect here on the right. Okay, is that fine, guys?
Yes, Gorak,
Yes, please.
sorry to interrupt. How did you open that first three files? Can you show me once again?
Don't make these other files for now. You don't have to make this one actually. We haven't
Oh,
actually
okay.
used it. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
just to use this index.html here. All right, just create empty folder and create index.html in there.
Okay.
And you need to just type HTML here and select this HTML5 because this is the recent version of HTML5. And this syntax will be generated and you can type anything inside body like h1 and something like this, hello, and this will be seen on the screen. Okay, you need to start live server as well from here.
Okay, thank you.
If you have your VS Code, then this will be the recommended way or easiest way to do things instead of Replit. So Replit is just for trying something less frequently. Okay, if you are doing frequently, then you need to do in VS Code. Right? Any questions, guys? Anything?
Yeah. Gaurav, what's the difference between like typing yarn start and just putting go live? Is it for just
Yeah, that is the package manager actually, mostly used for currently we are using it for React. Currently we don't have packages here as well. So it will actually compile some of those things and run those things on the live server. And we don't need that here. We don't need to compile anything. We don't need to use packages here. That's why we are simply using a live server instead of yarn. We will use yarn in React and live server in simple HTML here, something like this. All right?
Just a quick question, Gaurav.
Yes, please.
So right now we're starting Yarn in the create React app directory. For the other assignments or like other folders, when I do Yarn start, it like doesn't work. So do we need to put the folders in the create React app folder to make the server run, or what should we do?
Yeah. Better to actually create a brand new React application in another other folder instead of your current directory. Okay, and in that you need to install React, and then only you can use that yarn command. Otherwise, it will not work. Right? Yarn will work if you have installed React already. Or you can still clone my code in that create React app. in that create React app, I think yarn will work, right? In other folders, if that is not a React project, then yarn will not work. So outside of all of those folders, in somewhere else, maybe in your desktop or in your document, you need to create some folder for your assignment, and then install React in there first, and then start doing your assignment.
Right. It's just one more question. So is it for like every assignment and every other project we need to make new folder and then download React for every project?
It is better to do if you wish to practice those things. Otherwise, if you are familiar, then what you can do is send me the exact commit link. Okay, what you can do is currently I recommend you to create brand new folder for each and every assignment, because this is the very beginning. But later I will actually show you how we can track things from commits, and then you can do that way as well. Let me quickly show that one as well. Okay, so I'm going in my GitHub. So I'm randomly selecting something. Okay, this is actually one concept that I made previously for a React session, and I have 4 commits here. Okay, every project may have at least one commit if you are pushing this to GitHub, right? I have 4 commits here. So suppose that I want to go here. I want to go here at this moment. I have 4 things. These are the histories, right? I can either travel back to my code and forward to my code as well. So I want to go here. So currently, my code, I have src and I have app.js and I have some code here. And inside swiss.js, I have some code here. But if I go back, if I now go here, I need to click here on this less than greater than sign here. And if I go there, let me see. I have app and switch as well still, and I have some code, and I think this is the initial one and the other one is the final one. Yeah. So some code difference is there. In this way, I can actually go back and forth between my code. So what you can do later is create a single project and create multiple commits for that project for your assignment. Then you can actually send me the commit link. For example, if you have your first assignment in this commit, then you need to click here and then send me this link actually. And if your code is in second commit, then click on that, go to that second commit and send me that link. But currently, better to actually create new folder for each and every assignment and send me that link. Right? So if you feel very comfortable doing this one, then only do this. Otherwise, just create a brand new folder, push it to GitHub and send me the link. Is it all right?
Yes.
Okay, so don't worry about these things. Actually, these
Is
are
it
not actually. Wait, yeah.
is it like pushing or what's going on with the commit?
Yeah, don't worry that much for those comments. You just try to walk through what are these things sometimes, okay? Later we will actually do those things as well. I'm just saying because I know many of you are already familiar with those things. Many of you have already done big things already and don't want to create a folder or project for each and every small assignments. For those only you can actually follow these steps. Otherwise, better to create a brand new project for each and every assignments. And we are going to do those things. So later we will slowly become familiar with those things. Okay.
Yeah, Gaurav, I have a
Yeah.
question regarding the previous assignment. Do we have to create like a Yarn project, like a package, or is just like simple website and web pages?
Yeah. What was that? Please, can you repeat once again?
Yeah, for the previous assignment that was due, do you have to create a whole new package, the yarn package, or just like a simple just the web page with the CSS HTML?
No, no, implement with React. So install React, and you need to
Okay.
use yarn as well, and do it with React,
Okay.
right? Okay, currently we just want to explore the concept. So actually we are not going to do HTML here. That's why what you can once again do is HTML and click here, boilerplate is generated. I just want to link it with a JavaScript file. Okay, so in React we don't have to do that, but here we actually have to do this, writing app.js. Actually in React as well we do import export, but we will not manipulate this index.html in React. But here what we need to do is connect this with JavaScript. So for that I need to type script tag and write src there, and equals to here I need to actually reference the source, that is app.js. So script is not a void element. I mean, it needs to be closed with this syntax as well. So this is the syntax you need to write. And now if I write console log here, you'll not see anything here because we don't want to use that page. We want to use this terminal actually. So if I write console log here, console log hello, then you will see whatever I'm writing here on this terminal. Okay, sorry, on this console actually. This is fine.
Can you go back to the previous file?
This one. Okay, yeah, this is the line you need to add there inside head. Okay, everyone. Anybody have issue running this one? Do you see hello in your console? Everybody need to see this one in the console. Then we can work together. Previously, we were doing the same thing in Replit actually. This is actually a live cloud-based platform, which we were using. So we were clicking on HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. It was automatically creating HTML, CSS, and JavaScript file for us, actually. And there you already have your HTML, CSS, and JavaScript linked together. Can you see? You already have this script tag here. Otherwise, you can do this manually as well. Suppose if you don't have any file here, if you don't have anything like in VS Code, then you can create a file here called index.html, and then you can just write HTML, and if it is not showing you that drop down, then you can write this exclamation and press tab. It will generate this code for you. Okay, I pressed this exclamation sign and tab key on your keyboard. This will be generated. Now you need to create.
Is it the same as doing HTML?
This is the same what we are doing currently in VS Code. Okay. Yeah, it
Oh,
is the
okay,
same.
okay, you're doing it. Okay.
Yeah, it's the same.
How do you get
HTML.
to write something here on the web page from JavaScript?
We will slowly actually see that one.
Okay.
That is actually not quite important because we are gonna write in web page from React actually instead of JavaScript, because writing in web page from React and JavaScript is slightly different. Okay, but we will actually see some of those things, but we will not explore in depth from JavaScript because we are not gonna write in web page from JavaScript but from React. Okay, so here you can do script src equals this index.html, and this is the same syntax that I was writing previously.
Why index.html? Isn't it app.cs or JS?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Thank you. That is, we need to link it with app.js and we need to create app.js. Yeah, that's right. App.js. So yeah, now you can do the same thing here as well. So these two are similar. Okay, you can either use any of this platform. If you don't have your setup, and then you can actually do it using this Replit. Otherwise, you can do it with VS Code. There are many other platforms, not only Replit. We have Code Sandbox. We have many others websites which are providing you such kind of platforms. All right, so let's do it in VS Code.
But when you open in the beginning, it's already linked, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And there's some extra code with SR script. You don't have it now, but I didn't know what that was.
Obviously, there was already
In
a code,
index.html.
index.html.
Yeah, now
Yes.
maybe you don't have it because you deleted it, but before.
Yeah, there was very basic code, I think, which is linking with app style.css as well. Currently, we don't have CSS, but we can link with CSS as well. So there we also have style.css, right? And in your index.html, you may also have a link tag as well, right? Something like this. So this tag will link your index.html with style.css. We'll later do this one. And I think there may be this tag may be somewhere here instead of head. This tag may be inside body as well, right? You can see. Is there other tag which you don't understand in your index.html?
Not on this one. If you open a brand new one, then you'll know
Yeah,
what
I
I'm talking
understand.
about.
But are you opening brand new one currently?
Not currently. I don't have it right now. I can open one.
Yeah, just open it, and if you don't understand any syntax from there, then you can ask me. Okay, I think these are similar syntax. There may not be any difference. Right? So
The script src, which is https replit.com public.js badge.js theme blue. Can I share my screen?
yeah, sure, please.
This one.
Oh, okay. So
Because I don't see it here. It's something.
Yeah.
It's an API.
That may be the helping thing which is needed by Replit. Can you disable this one and try to see if it is
I think it
working without
works.
this? Yeah. So sometimes there may be another script tag which is injecting VR1 JavaScript. Maybe that won't matter for us. That is used by Replit, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's working.
Yeah.
So we don't know. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, actually, if you see those things, these are generated by Replit by default, and we can override it, right?
Yeah.
And these are not quite important. These are used by Replit actually. All right, so let's do, because it is really easy in VS Code instead of Replit, right? We already saw. So let me go in VS Code now. So I'm doing things with JavaScript currently. You can still link it with CSS and do things with CSS, but let's see with JavaScript. So yesterday we talked about some of the modern JavaScript concepts like destructuring and spread operator, rest parameter as well, right? So we can do the same thing with object as well. For example, let me create one object with name obj, and this is name here, and I need to create another field called population, and this is, let's say, 22 million, just random. Okay, so This is object, right? Is anyone here who don't understand why this is object? And yesterday we created another variable, something like this, and this is array, right? So this is array and this is object. So object will have the property name, and we use curly brace with object, and with array we use large bracket. Okay, so we can do destructuring with object as well. We can put this object on the right, similar to array, right? And on the left we can actually destructure this object. And with array we were using a big bracket or square bracket, but with object we'll be using this curly bracket. Okay, and here I need to write name, and now let's see if this name is available for us. Now I can see Nepal here. Without destructuring I cannot do this, right? Without destructuring, what do I need to do? I need to write obj.name. Now it's working. But with destructuring, I just took this name property out, and now I can just print name and it is working. So can somebody tell me the difference between object destructuring and array destructuring that you are seeing here? Instead of this curly brace, this is just a syntax, right? You need to use this sign, this curly brace sign, instead of big bracket. And is there any other difference that you are seeing here with object destructuring?
No,
It's same, right?
looks the same, yeah. Just curly braces and square.
Curly braces, yeah. So it means with array yesterday, I have, let me create simple one. And I was doing something like const and big bracket, first number, first element, let's say. First element equals in this way, right? So then, can I write, instead of name, why am I writing name? First element here. What do you think? Will it work? So let's save it. It's not working. It means I can write any name here, but I cannot write any name here. Is that the difference?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, with object, you cannot write any variable here. You need to use exact same name that you can see here inside object. Okay, you cannot write any variable that you wish. You can still rename that later, but you cannot write any other variable except the variable present here. The variable are name and population. You need to either use name or population. Okay, I can directly access the second one because I told you previously, if you remember, with object the order doesn't matter, right? That's why I can directly write population here, and now I can directly access that one. I have directly the second element as well. This is not a second element. You cannot say this one a second one, because with object order doesn't matter, right? But with array order matters actually. If you just write first element, then this will actually point to this one. If you write comma here, then this will point to this one, the second one. But if I write population first and name here, it doesn't matter actually. I can still print these values correctly. But if you write second number here and first number there, the second number is 1 and the first number is 2. Okay, this is the difference actually. With object destructuring, you need to actually use the exact name, but the order doesn't matter. With array destructuring, you can use any name, but order matters here.
Question. So why is the name when you're console logging the name, it's like cut, and on the population it's not?
Yeah, actually, this
Is that something
name is a variable you don't want to use. It says name is deprecated. There are some rules with JavaScript which you need to follow to create a variable. For example, if I create a variable called const age equals 30, this is fine, right? But I cannot use anything, any name here. What I mean is, I cannot use if here. I cannot use this name called if. Do you know why?
Reserve mode, right?
That is the reserved row. That's right. That's correct. And now this is gonna be slowly deprecated. Currently it is working, but later this will be removed from JavaScript, and then it will also not work, and it will become a reserved keyword as well. So if something is deprecated and something is there which is crossed, then better to not use it. Better to not use such kind of name. Instead of name, I can write country name, right?
And do we know why it's being why it's getting deprecated?
Actually, yeah. Let's see if we have some information there. Maybe I can go here and yeah, there are some variables which are already used in JavaScript. Can you see? Name here and navigator here, external here, event here. So there is a variable called name as well in JavaScript, already there in JavaScript. That's why it will be conflict, right? If you use it, there was already in JavaScript as well. That's why currently they added this variable. That's why they actually thought that JavaScript makers thought that let's deprecate this variable so that you and I will not use in our code. And JavaScript behind the scene actually will use this variable in the code. Okay?
So JavaScript is using.
Yeah, JavaScript is using this keyword.
But name is not like if, right? It's not something meaning.
Yeah, there are many other names. For example, you may not know. For example, if I write const event equals to 10. So yeah, it is working, seems to be working. But let's see something like class. Yeah, this is not working. This is also not like if actually. But these are the variables which are already used by JavaScript. Okay. If there is a name which may not be like if, it shouldn't be like if else, but if it is a variable which is a reserved keyword used by JavaScript, then we don't have to use that. That's the way how we actually create variables in programming. We need to follow the rules. If that is a reserved variable, then we don't have to use that.
I have a question. Can you show us last class one more time when you printed the first number and then the index as well?
Oh, sure. Yeah, that we did with array structuring, right?
Yeah.
So let me comment everything. Later I'll go that with objective structuring. Somebody was asking me regarding this variable reserved keyword. Is this fine? Okay. Did you understand? You want to ask me
Yeah.
some more? Okay, yeah. So yeah, don't worry about those things. These are really minor things. Actually, we need to make real applications which matters actually. So sometimes if you know little things, if you know that reserved keyword shouldn't be used, and then yeah, just try to follow the rule. Eventually, I think they will make sense because we are gonna learn these things later as well. Class as well. What is class as well? So second number and the first number are the variables which are pointing to second number is pointing to 1 here currently. So let me put it here. First number first and second number. Now first number is pointing to 1 and second number is pointing to 2. So yesterday I printed index number and the value, right? So I can directly print first number here, which is 1, right? And if you want to print the index number of this first number, What do we need to do? So there is some other really simple loop that we'll let us see, but this is array, and if you write 0 here, then the index number is it 1 1 2. This is a value. Actually we need to use index number, right? So for that we can use a simple loop currently with for loop as well, or with map as well, or with filter as well, or with for each as well. So let's use for each. arr.for each, and for each will accept a callback function. Okay, you need to know what is a callback function actually now. Actually, I have referenced this name in our previous session. Callback function is a function which will be automatically called by somebody else, not by you. Means currently for each will call this function. So now I can write console log, and it will accept three things here similar to map method. The first one, the element, which will be pointed to either 1, 2, or 3, and second one is the index. Now I have element and index. Now I can directly print item and the index, right? Here in this way. If I save it now, I have this. You can say that this is you can say array. Put it here, array value. First one is the item, and you can say index value, and this is actually the index. And you can write any element here, value here, like 10, 20, 30, and we have array value 10 and the index value 0, array value 20, index value 1, and corresponding index value is printed for the corresponding element value here. Okay, you can also use map here as well. These are same, but there is one difference which is really important. You cannot return anything from for each method. Okay, so if you try to return something from for each method, let me return something from map method here for now. Return let me return item, and I'm going to multiply each and every item by 2, and I'm going to store the output in result here. Okay, need to click here and write const result, and the output is here in the result. Let me console log the output, and now you can see the elements are multiplied by 2, each and every element. But if you try to do this with for each, then this will not work. Actually, for each return statement will not work. This is really important difference. You cannot return anything from for each, it means, right? So why do we need for each then? For each will be needed sometimes if you want to create external effect. Okay, if you don't want to return, then we will use for each later. If you want to return something and create a new array which is mapped. Okay, mapped means the element length will be same, but we will do some more things there. Okay, we can do any operation like multiply it by 2 and add 10 in each and every element, and you can see now the corresponding result contains the same array length. We have still 3 elements, but now with each and every element this rule is applied. Okay, does this answer your question?
Can you say again what's the for each doesn't return anything, but why do we still want to use it?
Yeah, if you don't want to return, okay, sometimes you don't want to return. So let's see that example as well. Okay, so what we are going to do here is, let's say that we don't have anything initially in this array. This is empty. This is empty array. Empty array means nothing here, right? There are no elements. So let's use for each now. For each method. Now let's try to fill elements here each and every time. So for each will run according to the length of this array. Currently, we don't have array here, right? So let's create another array. Const numbers and 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the elements which are available in this numbers array, and we want to actually copy some of the elements or send some of the result from this numbers array to this another array. Okay, we are actually trying to manipulate another array from this for each loop actually. So we don't want to actually return, but we want to manipulate this array, okay, this variable, arr variable. So what you can do is write arr dot push, and you need to write numbers here because we want to do it with numbers. So arr dot push, and each and every time we want to push the item. So let's print item here, and let's see. Initially, this will be actually let's print arr here. Initially that will be empty, right? Nothing is here. So with for is we actually pushed these elements 1, 2, 3, 4 elements into this array, another array. So let's see if it is working or not. Now you can see that our arr is also containing 1, 2, 3, 4. You can do something else here as well, like each and every time push item plus 10. So let's say this is the rule we are going to apply. We will apply. So each and every time 10 is added to each and every item here, and that is copied to another array, and the result is now available in this array. Previously it was empty. Now we filled elements in there. So did we return here? We didn't return,
No.
right? We just created a side effect. This is called side effect. We created effect in some other variable here.
So this is copying elements from one array to another, right?
Yeah.
And we can also do this with
copying as well as it is like manipulating as well.
Yeah, with adding 10. Yeah, this can also be done with map.
Yeah, this can be done with map, but with map
you cannot use
need to
push.
use. Yeah, we can use push as well. This can be used with map as well, but there is one added benefit with map. We can also return, but this is absolutely working with map as well.
And with map return, meaning we're returning a new array, which is result.
Yeah, we are still returning a new array with map as well.
But do we need result for each? Const result equals to, or we don't even need this?
You mean do we need to use? Do you still need to use?
Do we need to use a variable for each?
No, we don't need to use it because this is not returning anything, right? For is
what map we do, right?
Yeah, with for is, so this is not actually making any sense, right? This variable we are not using it. We are just creating a side effect to this variable. That's why because for each will still return undefined. That's why we cannot store anything in any variable, right? That's why we will not create any variable.
So when you're returning with map in this, can we do this, or do we need a variable for map?
So it depends. What are you trying to do actually? Are you trying to store the
returning
result?
something?
Yeah. Are you trying to return? Then we'll use variable. Then we'll not use such kind of thing, right?
Okay.
Yeah. If you're want to return, then we are not actually manipulating external variable. So usually we will not actually provide effect to external variable with map. We will directly return something from map and store it in some variable. Okay, and with for each we will not store it in some variable. We will create side effect with other variable. Right? Yeah, we still have many questions to deal with those things. We still are going to practice a lot of questions. So don't worry about those concepts currently. Is this fine for now? Did I lose the connection? Let's see. Oh, okay.
No, it's fine. Yes.
No,
Right. So yeah, I was talking about destructuring here with object destructuring right here. Let me remove everything with already destructuring now. So let's not go with those other methods currently. Let's stick with this specific terms. I'm currently in isolation, means I am currently just explaining these concepts. I'm not trying to relate these concepts with other concepts that we have already learned. Later we'll do this while we are practicing those things. So yeah, population and name is not there. I need to make it country name. Now I can actually accept country name or population. So this is really, really important. We'll do this all the time in React. We'll destructure, okay? We'll take those variable out. Otherwise, if you don't have destructuring, then you need to always write obj dot here, obj dot population and obj dot country name. It is fine until here, but if you have one more property there, let's say that I have states here, and let's say that first state. So I'm just randomly writing something here. Okay, so this is the state here in Nepal. So I have first state, and let's say that I have second state here. I have two names here in first state and second state. Now, if you want to access these two names, I have one object inside another object. This is one object inside this object. These are two objects, absolutely fine. So what do I need to do? If you don't have destructuring, then what do I need to do to access this first state from object? What do I need to write in console? Can somebody help me?
For the state?
Yeah, I want to directly
Object
print this first
dot
state.
Object
dot
Object
state
dot
state
dot
last name.
first state.
Yeah, we are writing a lot
State
of dots there, right? Yeah, this is the actually the issue with this accessing property from object. Yeah, I'm still printing this this first state from here, but this is not actually a good way. Sometimes you directly want to access states variable out of this object. So at that time, what you can do is destructure it. Directly write state here. Now states is out of this object. Now I can directly write states dot first state here. Now still
Can we
the
do
same
states
result.
dot first state inside there?
But you cannot do state dot first state here. Okay.
You cannot. Okay.
That is not. Yeah. But we can still destructure it one step away. So what you can do is write colon here and still write first state. Now you can directly use first state. Okay, we are destructuring this twice. First, we are destructuring this outer object, and then we are destructuring this inner object. Right? Now we are directly using this first state variable. Okay, so for that case, you need to use this colon and destructuring syntax one more time. So let me go with country name once again. I need to actually see some other concepts there. So once again, a country name here. So if you don't want to use the same variable, if you don't want to use the same variable name like country name, you can rename it here as well. Okay, so let me see. Let me try to write it with colon and my country. And now let me save and let's see if this country name is working or not. Now it is not working. Let's see with my country. Now it is working. So we are renaming the variable here. Okay, we are renaming country name to my country. All right, we can rename it as well. So with array destructuring, we can use any variable name you wish. But here you need to use the exact name which is there inside object, the exact property name. But if you still wish to rename that property, then you can do it here. Okay.
How is this different from what we did before? Oh, the first state was inside curly braces, right? Okay. Never mind.
Yeah. Previously we were destructuring, currently we are not. Yeah.
It looks
So
very
this is
similar
all
to
about. Yeah.
double destructure.
Yeah, you can try destructuring many things here. Like you still may have another property here, right? Inside first state, you can have another property like state name, something like this. This is the real case scenario. We have a lot of nested variables in there, like state, population, right? Let's say randomly 10 million. So here, now what you can do is you can destructure all the way down if you wish. So what we can do is write states here. Once again, destructuring. So what do I need to do? Inside curly brace,
Within
I need to
curly.
write first state, right? Now,
First
can I
thing.
go one step down as well?
Yeah.
Like
One
this?
more curly brace. State name.
And state name. Let's see. Let's try to print this. I'm formatting is an every time with prettier. Okay, that's why it is coming
And
new
then
line.
do 2 colons and province, maybe. Rename it.
Rename it. Okay.
Province.
Let's try to print province. And what is the value then?
Bagmati.
What will be? Right. Yeah, that's fine. In this way, we can destructure this object. Okay, most of the time, object destructuring is really useful because we don't have to worry about where is this located. Is it the first index or the second index? Because that doesn't matter with object. That's why you can directly write the variable there and take it out and use it. Okay, guys, any question? So similar to array, object also have
I have a
prototype.
question real quick.
Yeah, yes,
When
please.
you highlighted the text, it was what command option shift, right? To like format it.
Actually, I'm forcefully formatting it. So
Okay.
I'm pressing Control Shift Control Option Z key. That is the key which I have actually set here. The formatting key, right? Right here, if you search for it here, you can write your keyboard combination. I think that is set somewhere. Force format. Let me write format instead of prettier. And I think there will be something called format document. Yeah, I actually have this shortcut here already set. So I am using this in Mac Control Option and Z. You can create your any shortcut, or you can right click. For example, if something is not formatting like this way, you can right click and click on format document somewhere here as well. Okay. Is this what you were asking?
Yeah, thank you.
All right then. So what I was saying is similar to array, we also have prototype in object actually. So console log this object one time. So we have this object here. We have country name, population, and states. And now we have this prototype here. But if you carefully see here, the prototype, I don't know why this is still coming, that I'll fix that one. This prototype here is slightly different to this array. We don't have those properties here, right? We don't have map, for each, push, puff. Like previously we used to have that in array, right? Let's see. I have 1, 2, 3, and if I save it with, sorry, if I print it in console, then with array, I have a lot of property actually inside prototype. I have like map, filter, push, flat map, for each, includes, right? All of those things are here. But with object, we don't have those things here. It means we cannot use map method with object. You cannot do that. Okay, if you don't have those property here, then you cannot use your method with object. All right, so it means you cannot do something called object.map. Okay, So you can use those methods only with array. So with object, these methods are not available. That is the bad news, right? The good news is you can still create your methods here. Like you can create a method to actually dynamically send you the name of these states, something like this, or print you the name of these states, whatever you are supplying. For example, let me write a print method. Method is nothing but it is a function. You can create a function here. Let me create a simple function outside using function declaration, okay, or function expression. You can still use any of the three way. So let me create a method called print. Method means function, okay. Inside object, if you use a function, then it will be called as method. I need to use print, sorry, print, and I'm using function expression here. Then I need to write function, and it will print whatever I am passing here. So I'm accepting something. I'm accepting state name. Then once I call this function, I will pass that state name here. State name. So I will actually pass the value, sorry, from here I will pass like province 1, something like this. And if I save it now, can we see province 1? We cannot see province 1. So I need to actually have this variable here as well, because whatever I am passing is coming inside the state name, and we are printing the same thing here. This is a very simple function. And now it is printing whatever we are passing here. Right? This is a simple function. We already know that how to create that function, right? But let's create this function inside object. We can still create this function inside object and use it. So I'm going to cut this from here or copy this from here and paste it here. Now it will not work if you directly try to do this. If you directly create function in this way, it will not work. What you need to do is, first, we'll not use semicolon there, right? We are using comma for each and every property name. Let me remove this one. And the second, you will not like write something like const there. You will not write this keyword. Okay, that is another difference. You will not write const late there. Let's remove this. And the other one is similar to equals. Inside object, we'll write colon instead of equal, right? That's why you need to replace this equal with colon. And if you actually do these three things, then you converted your object to method. Now, this method is available inside object. Method means a function, right? This is a function, right? So this method is available inside object. So instead of directly writing print here, now you can write obj.print. And this is still printing province 1. Let's say province 7. It is still printing province 7. Right? So this is similar, right? With array, we are using something like map method. Now, can you tell me what is this? This is a function similar to print function. Print function is just accepting a string because we are accepting a string here. But this map method will accept a function actually. This is how this is defined inside array. This is already defined inside array, but the print is the method that we just defined. That's why actually array is also object behind the scene. This is just a different implementation actually. You can still restructure, right? You can still take this out, take that print out. What you can do is write const print from object. Now you can directly use that print. So, oh, we still have print here to remove it. Let's still remove everything. Now what I can do is call this print. This is a function, right? I need to pass something here like Kentucky. So whatever I'm passing here is printing actually in the console, because this is how we are writing this function. We can still write it in other way, but this is really simple example. That's why I'm showing you here. Later we will do many things with object as well, object methods as well. All right. Any confusion, guys?
Why do we want to use function inside a object? Just to, this one is this, but I guess mostly to add
Sometimes,
something.
no. Sometimes you need to write some logic, create some logic. Uh, Actually, we can still inside this object, we can still access this variable, right? So can I write console log?
But you're not
Let me
accessing anything, you're just throwing something out.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying this is not actually what we do in real life. Later we'll see examples, right? This is just to understand how. Actually, my main goal here is to make you understand the syntax actually, not the implementation currently. Okay, because we still have a lot of things to do. We'll do those questions sometimes later. Okay. Yeah, I have a lot of list actually, a list of questions which we will practice regarding object and arrays. All right. So we can still use those things with from object, like we still have something. Let me try to do this country name here. So it is not working. So I'm still accessing country name inside this function, but it is not working. For that case, we'll write something called this dot country name, and it will oh, okay, let's see. We have something called this keyword. Actually, this is not that much important. With React, we'll never use that one. With React hooks, actually, previously it was used with actually with class components in React, but we'll not use it. But we'll at least use it in JavaScript. Okay, this keyword is currently undefined here. It seems to be pointing to this object. That's why we'll have an entire session regarding this keyword because it has slightly different concept. For example, if you directly try to print this keyword here, now it will point to the window. And if you write something called use strict on the top, it will actually now not point to that window. So there is something which we need to know. That's why I'm not trying to use it right now. Later we'll see these concepts as well. Okay, let's not try to go try to actually explore a lot of things. Today's main goal is to make you understand the syntax of modern JavaScript. All right. Yeah, we still have a lot of things to do. That's why we'll cover those things. We'll see how we can actually use these objects in real life, these functions in real life inside object.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So a function that you declare inside an object, can it take parameters that are not linked to this?
You mean we
Like
have
in
that?
that instance of the object,
Okay.
does that state name have to be within like a parameter of the object itself?
Yeah. So you mean you want to remove it?
What I mean is, when you call it, do you have to give it parameters that come with the object itself, or can you use any parameters?
Oh, so I am passing this thing here because I am accepting there, right?
Yeah.
So you can implement this function in any way. You can
Oh, okay.
still not accept those parameters in there, and you can do something here. So you can write some logic and access those variables from objects. Actually, we'll do that. We'll do that sometimes later. So let me just write hello here. And currently, I'm just printing myself here, writing myself. So currently, I'm not passing any parameters. That's fine. You don't have to always pass the parameters in there. You can still accept the parameters if you need. Otherwise, you can then not pass the parameters and use some variables from the object and manipulate those variables as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, then. So this is regarding object destructuring. and object itself as well. So we can create variable in object, right? We can create method in object. And my main goal is to make you understand these things. Can you create variables inside object now? In this way? To create a variable, you need to write variable name and colon instead of equals, right? Previously, without object, we write equals. Now we can write this colon. This is the first one. And can you create method inside object? Method means, what is method actually?
It's the function.
It's the function, right? We can create function inside object. And can you destructure those things? Can you take those things out?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the thing that we want to know, that we want to understand. Now, can you implement it? That is what we are going to do sometimes later. Okay. So let's see some other concepts now. We have something like short circuiting things, something like that. We have some operators which are really important to understand. Then I think we'll discover some of the operators like optional chaining, knowledge coalescing, something like that. So I will actually come back to this subject. This will be required, I think, sometimes later. But let me cut this for now, and let me write once my name or country name. Currently, inside country name, there is nothing, and we cannot create a variable with const with no value there in there. So what do I need to do is to write let here. So this is a variable with empty value, right? So I'm going to console log this country name. So what do you think? What will you see in your console?
Undefined.
Yeah, undefined. So undefined is a falsy value, right? You need to know falsy value means how many falsy value do we have? Like undefined and null, empty. Are there others?
Not a
Zero.
number.
Zero as well. Yeah, not a number as well. Any more? Okay, we'll see. So what I'm trying to do here is I just want to actually write some operator. There is a vertical line. It is below delete keyword key in my Mac actually. I think in your window as well, there will be that key somewhere. This is actually a vertical line, you can say. So I'm writing two vertical line here, and now I'm writing my actual country name here. So let's see what is this doing actually. It is printing Nepal. So let me assign it a value. And let me save it now. Now it is printing US. So what do you think? What is this operator doing here?
It's an OR operator.
Yes, actually, that is like OR operator. Okay. So it is taking whether if country is available, country name is available, it is taking the value. Otherwise, it will take Nepal. Is that correct? Yes.
Yes.
This is like
Yes.
OR operator. Like if this is available, then take it. Otherwise, take it. Take other value. Like this is like OR operator. This one or this one. Which one is there? Country name is there or this one is there. So if both of them are there, then it will take the initial one. Otherwise, if it cannot see there, then it will take the other one. So it's like
So logical operator, right?
it's like a logical operator. Yeah, if you know some maths, then you may have actually sometimes heard those terms like logical operator, OR gate, AND gate, something like that. Logical operator, that's right. So if I write, let me see it with, there is another operator in key 7, I think. You need to press command and shift and 7 twice. I'm writing twice. And let me save it now. Let's see. Let me see. Previously with OR, it was providing US. Now let's see. With AND, it is providing Nepal. So what is this doing actually here?
Instead of or, it's and.
Yeah, the operator is different. Yeah, that's the first one. And what is the logic behind this AND operator? Why is it printing Nepal there instead of US?
Because it's false.
It's true, right? Country name is
to be true, right?
both of them are truthy value, right?
Yeah.
Then
I-
it is printing Nepal, right?
It's overwriting the variable value that you set from US to Nepal.
Okay, let's see. Let's not write anything here. And let me save. Will it still print Nepal? What do you think?
No.
So now it is printing undefined. If it was overwriting, then it should overwrite with Nepal there, right?
No, but for like the
I
end
think
of both
it's
the condition needs to be true.
I
Yeah,
think
that is
check
my
the
guess.
both condition, the first and second, and since it's checking the Nepal second, so the value of Nepal is coming clear.
Yeah, previously, I think that is school level math. If you know something like this, 1 and 1 will equals to 1, and 1 let me do it, 1 and 0 will be equal to 0, something like this. And if you have 0 here, 0 at any place, then it will still be 0, 0. If both of them are 0, then it will still be 0. With this AND operator, this is called AND operator, okay? Logical AND actually, you can say. With this AND operator, both of them need to be true. Otherwise, if any of them is false, then the result will be false. So this is the logic behind this thing actually here. Here, AND means both of them are compulsory, right? Saying AND means bring this one and this one means you need to bring both of them, right? Both of them are compulsory. With OR, both of them are not compulsory. Bring this one or this one means you can bring any of that thing, right? That's why, since with AND both of them are compulsory, that's why both of them needs to be truthy value if you want to print something. Otherwise, if any of them is a falsy value, then that falsy value will be printed on the screen. That's the first takeaway. But why is this only taking Nepal? Because currently there is a country called US as well, which is also a truthy value, right? Both of them are truthy value, means both of them have value. Nepal country name is also actually truthy value. It has the value US, and this is also a truthy value. It has the value Nepal. Then why is this only picking Nepal, not US?
I think it evaluates country name first, and then if that's true, it has to check the second part. That's why it's printing the second part, because the last thing it looks at.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
correct.
I think overriding.
Yeah, in programming, especially in React, you will actually pronounce this term, instead of saying overwriting, we'll call it short circuiting. Okay, here, what is this doing is it is short circuiting always right here. Whatever the value, if you have both of this value true, for example, you can have US directly here. It is actually checking here this value, and now it has received the value here. Now it is going to check the second value, and it is now short circuiting at this point. Short circuiting means it is stopping there, and printing whatever it is finding later. But if this country name is not having value initially, means it will check here and it is not finding the value. Now it will short circuit right here. It will not go ahead. It will not go ahead. Okay, it will short circuit right here and it will print whatever it is finding here, if that is a false value. The main logic is actually if any of the variable is false at any time, then it will short circuit right there. We can write a lot of name here, right? Something like empty value, something like null. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 3 AND gate. As you can say 3 AND operator. So now I'm writing India here, and inside here I'm writing US here. And let me at least remove this one for now. Later I'll add it there. Now what do you think? What will be printed now in this screen?
India.
Yeah, India will be printed, right? Why not Nepal?
I think it's first check for a country
Yeah,
name and then goes to the Nepal and then it take the last value of India.
Yeah, that's right. It needs to check all of these variables. It cannot make sure if this is truthy or falsy, right? So it will first check this country name. It has found that this is a truthy value, right? So it will have to check this one as well, because AND operator will need to make sure everything is checked properly. This is compulsory, right? This is not optional. So this is compulsory operator. That's why it needs to check this value and this value. So it has checked this value and this is fine. This is truthy value. So let's go ahead. And now it is checking this value and this is also a truthy value. There is nowhere to go ahead. That's why now it is short circuiting right here and printing the variable India, printing the value India on our screen. But if it is still going ahead and if it can found something there, then it will need to actually check at least what is the thing that is ahead. Then it will not actually print this value. It will go here and now it is finding null. That's why it will print null here. Now it will, if we still have some value, some variable here, like now what will be printed on the screen?
Null.
Undefined.
No.
Yeah, we don't have undefined anywhere here, right? But
But
that
null
false
is a
value.
falsy value, no?
Yeah, whatever there will be printed, right? Null is null. Null and undefined are different things.
I thought you said falsy value will.
Yeah, falsy value will be printed. Whatever the value there will be printed. So what is the value of null? The value of null is null. The value of undefined is undefined. Okay. So the value of this last variable is spin. That's why whatever the value will be printed. That's why it is printing null. If we have undefined here, then it will print undefined there. If we have 0 here, now it will print 0, right? It is a false value, right? It will print 0 there. If you have empty value, then it will print empty value. So whatever the false value there, it will print the corresponding false value in the screen. Actually in the console currently. Okay. So what do you think if I replace this thing here with this OR operator? What will happen now? What will be printed on the screen?
Country US.
US.
Yeah, US.
US will be printed here. So if I don't have this one,
Nepal.
see, Nepal is printed. So it is checking for the truthy value, right? So if it is finding the truthy value, then it is short circuiting right there. Previously, AND operator, it's not short circuiting. Short circuiting means stopping at that location and printing the same value, whatever it is finding. Currently, OR operator is checking for the truthy value. It is searching for the truthy value. Is country name a truthy value? No, it is not. Is this second variable currently a truthy value? No, it is not. That's why now it will print India. So it is searching for those truthy value. It will be really useful in React later. Okay, if you want to conditionally print something. All right. So
Why is
this is
country
all
name not a truthy value?
because there is no value, right? If there is no value, then the value will be undefined, and undefined is not a truthy value, right? Am I correct?
So if this was an operator, it would print country name.
It will print country name. That's right. So you can say that AND operator is short circuiting at falsy value, right? It is searching for the falsy value, and OR operator is short circuiting at truthy value. So it is always searching for the truthy value. It is always searching for the falsy value. If it cannot find it, then it will actually print. If it cannot find till last as well, then it will print whatever is present at the end. But it will always search. AND operator always search for the falsy value, OR operator always search for the truthy value. All right. If you just write AND here, what do you think? What will happen right here?
No.
Will it print null or undefined? Or the
Undefined.
No, empty value, right?
Save it.
Oh, the brackets.
Did I miss something? Oh, yeah, brackets. So it is checking for this two value initially. And now we are actually doing operations with rest of the things as well. So now we have multiple operators coming together, right? Do it without brackets. Now what is happening here is, here we have AND and OR operator together. It needs to first evaluate what is coming from here, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to evaluate, and country name and the empty string means what will be the output?
Empty string.
Define.
Undefined, because country name is undefined, because it will short circuit right here. It will not go with empty string. That's why it will provide us undefined. Now other variable needs to be evaluated, rest of the things as well, because currently we have and OR coming together. Now this OR is searching for the truthy value. That's why it will not short circuit right here. It will short circuit at India. That's why we are seeing India here.
So what happens when you mix them together? That went by quick.
Yeah, this is what is happening, right? This is actually evaluating first two things first. Then it will evaluate those other later. That's why it is evaluating these two things, country name and empty string. Results empty string, sorry, country name and empty string results undefined. Now
So
it
it's
will
left to right operation?
Yeah, this is left to right operation. Where can you find that one? Left to right or right to left? Did we saw that previously? Did we see it sometimes?
I think so.
Yeah, you need to write operator precedence. Need to go Mozilla, and right here on the button somewhere, we have those operators here, and you can see. Let's see, do we have logical operator somewhere?
I saw it up.
Have this, right? What did you see?
The
Yeah, this one.
logical.
Oh, yeah, this. Actually, this is assignment. Sorry. So yeah, this one is logical, and this is the other one operator is logical OR that we saw. And these operators are actually, you can see here, left to right, left to right. Okay, left to right means the execution, they will execute from left to right. Not everything execute from left to right. The assignment operator execute from actually right to left. Okay, you don't need to actually know all of those things, but better to know where can we actually see the operator precedence. Then you can always come here and see whether these are left to right or right to left. Okay, any other question, guys?
Can you Control Z one more time just to see how it looked?
Control G means
Control Z.
previously. Oh, this
Yeah.
one? Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
All right. Any confusion? Okay then. So this is about short circuiting, and I'll come back to this object now.
And this will change to what did it change to? Undefined, right? We need to Control Y.
Means what is the output or what is this operation?
Yeah, what is the output of these two?
The overall output is India, right? But this
but what?
This can execute
So
from left
these
to
two,
right.
what happens? It's
This will provide
it becomes
undefined. It will short circuit
Okay,
at the first one, because AND
Okay,
operator is always looking for the falsy value, and it is finding the falsy value initially. That's why it is short circuiting right there, and it will provide us undefined. All right, so this will be really useful for you in React. We'll use that in React when we want to conditionally print something. So yeah, we don't know whether something is coming from API is always true or not, right? Sometimes you are getting data from the database, so you don't know whether that data will come or not, right? Sometimes there may be some server error, sometimes there will not be any internet connection, right? And you don't know that data will come to your browser or not. Then at that time, what we will do is short circuit it. So what we will do is, I'm doing it in console currently, means this is not a actual way to do. Later we will actually implement in real life. Okay, so actually let's suppose that some data is coming from external server database. Okay, so let's store that data coming from our database in some variable. We don't know whether that will come here or not. And to actually fetch your database, we need to perform some query that we'll see sometimes later. But currently I am directly supposing that this data is coming from your database. So now what you will do is, if that data is coming from your database, then we will print that data. Otherwise, we will print loading on the screen, some loading spinner or loading, or you can say that data not found, something like this. If that data is not coming, you will print something like this. Now, currently this data is coming, right? I'm directly writing it. So that's why I'm seeing the actual data. If this is not coming from the external database, then there will be nothing. So we need to declare it with, at that time, you need to declare it with let variable. There's nothing, right? Or if you want to still declare with const, then at that time, what you need to do is initially provide some value. So now this data is not coming from your API. Now if I save it, now it says data not found. We'll conditionally print something in the screen later with these operators. All right. Okay then, so guys, can we take some break and then resume this session? Sorry for that. Okay, so can we take around, do you need 5 or 10 minutes, guys? How much time do we need?
10 minutes.
All right, let's meet after 10 minutes. Okay, hello everyone. Are you there, everybody? Can we resume our session then?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Actually, we need to practice a lot of things. These things needs to be practiced. We need to implement those things, right? We are just seeing the concepts. So, just give me a moment to this one for now. Okay, so what I was saying is we will practice a lot of those concepts, okay? But I will give you a website currently. I think you need to see that one first. So actually today I have taken some leave for my work. That's why I think these messages are coming. So yeah, so let's see. Let me go to, let me quit this one first. Let me go to Chrome, and I just want to go.
Are you sharing your screen?
Oh, am I not sharing? Sorry for that one.
I don't see anything.
Can you see it now, guys?
Yes.
Okay. So what I was saying is we are actually learning a lot of concepts, right? We need to practice those concepts. So I want you to first explore this website and try to practice some of the concepts yourself. It will help us to actually do some complex things, complex logical questions sometimes later. So this one is this website. I just found it randomly while searching somewhere on the net. Okay, so I thought that this is really good to actually see initially for the beginners. So I'll just attach this one in the chat section. I first explored everything from there, and I found that that is really useful. So that's why I'm sharing it to you guys. So you can just open it and let's see what is this actually talking about. JavaScript, this is regarding arrays methods and everything regarding array actually in JavaScript. And you'll later realize actually array is a lot more important as well as slightly complex to actually implement as well. So we will need to deal with array most of the time as a React developer as well. So here you have some situations. So you can just click here, and what do you want to do? You have an array already. You already have an array, and you would like to, that array is given here, okay? And you would like to add elements, add items to other arrays. You can just click here now. And what do you need to do? I need to add elements to an array. Let's see. And what you did is you already have an array and you want to add some elements to that array, right? And you added this element, like we have 5 1, and we added this 518, and we added this element from other array, only this element. And this is how you will do. There is a method called splice which is used for this purpose. And you can just see here, if you want to add elements to the end of the array, then you can just use push, right? And if you want to add elements to the front, then you can just do on shift, right? So this is just really easy to actually explore all of the array methods. So if you want to add two arrays together, then you can just use concat, right? This is just regarding add items to other array. There are other things like if you want to remove items, then what do you want to do? Do you want to remove elements from the current array? Then at that time you'll use this method called splice. So if you want to remove the last element of the array, then you'll use this pop method. If you want to remove the first element of the array, then you'll use this shift method. So if you want to actually remove one or more elements in order, then you'll use something called slice method. So just see and try to actually see the documentation as well. What is the slice method doing? What is this or the splice method doing. So yeah, everything is regarding array. If you want to find some elements from array, then what do you need to do? Trying to do? Are you trying to find one element? Then at that time, so here are a lot of things regarding find. So let me click here. I just want to find a certain element, if that exists or not. At that time, you will use this includes method. If you want to find the index only, then at that time you'll use this index of method. So if you just want to find the last index of the particular element, then you use the method called last index of. So just explore it yourself first. This will help you to understand or use a lot of array methods that are already available. Then it will also help you to later do actual problems while we actually deal them in React as well as in data structure and algorithm. All right. Is this fine, guys? Any question? All right, I think you will need to first actually try to do yourself, then you'll realize if there is some confusion. If you are not understanding some of the methods regarding array, then you can ask me in the session as well. We'll discuss those methods here. All right now we want to once again go to VS Code, and here it is still didn't have anything. Let me see. Let me just disable my screen for real quick. Okay, I'll come back here. So my VS Code on the right. Mod. Okay. So once again, let's explore some of the things in modern JavaScript. Now I need to deal with that object that I removed previously. And my live server is already running. It is running on the port called 5500. With React, it was running on 3000, right? You can just write localhost here and your port 5500. Oh, not working. I think I miss L here. Just okay. I need to go to inspect and on the inspect element here in the console. So I think I have that in somewhere here. Let me see. Here, this one, okay. Okay, this one is the object. So what we are trying to do here is trying to access some of the property. You can first do destructuring. You may not have a state name here sometimes, right? No need to have a state name. This can be a general object for all the country in this world, and every country in this world may not have states. That's why for some country there will be states, for some country there will not be state. And let me console log this object. Now I have this properties available in that object. You can directly get that any property that you want to work, right? You can just get that states out from this object, and now you can just go inside this state name, states dot first state dot state name. Now I have this state name which is empty, right? So if there is nothing, then what do you think? What will be there? State name is not there. Would it be undefined or would it not work? Let's see. Let me save it. And it says state name is not defined. Okay, this is not good, right? If you see such kind of error, then your application will crash. It will not work. this kind of error are really dangerous errors. So this will actually break your application. So how can we resolve such kind of issue, issue from happening? So let me try to remove this one for now and save it. I think something is wrong here, right? Oh, here, yeah, state name is not defined. But this JavaScript is not showing any error. It is working perfectly fine. Right, so let me define this state for now. It will not work eventually. Now here, the state name is empty. So we are trying to access something which is not defined previously, that we may not know sometimes. So this state name, first state and state name. So let me remove this one. Okay, it is slightly creating confusion, I think. Let me make this really straightforward. States, and now I have a lot of states here. So first state, this is first state, this is second state. So I'm now printing states directly here. States are printed. This is fine. So I can either not destructure and directly access this states from here, obj.states. This is fine, right? But for some of the countries, there may not be the states available. For this will not be there entirely. This may not be there. But if I now try to access it, it says undefined here. obj.states is undefined. And if I try to access the state, the first element of the state, now this is breaking. If I now try to access the states.firstName, it is also not working, right? Because we don't have states there. But we may not know sometimes whether state is available from our database or not. Sometimes we may have state there, but sometimes we may not have state. Previously, we used to have states in this way, right? First state, let's say Bagmati province here. Now I can write states dot first state and state. I need to write states dot first state, and it is working. But for some country, there may not be the states available entirely. Now it is not working. So we need to actually write this kind of logic for all of the country, whether there is the state available or not, right? That's why we need to sometimes skip or sometimes accept it. So when do we want to skip it? If there is no states available. When do we want to accept it? If there is states available. Then I'm going to write some operator here, something like this question mark sign. So this is actually called the optional chaining operator in JavaScript. So let me save it now. It is not impacting the current situation here, but it will at least prevent us from breaking our application. I told you previously, if you see such kind of red errors there, red warning, then that will crash your application. So I'm going to remove these states from here and I'm going to save it now. It is providing me undefined. It is not providing me those red warning, those red errors, right? At least it is preventing me from crashing my application. That's why if I remove this question mark sign from here, now I have this red sign. These are really the errors which will break your application. So what is this doing actually? It will check if this state is truthy value or falsy value. Okay, if this state is a truthy value, it will go ahead. Otherwise, if this state is a falsy value, then it will not go ahead. It will just stop the execution here. It will just block this execution. Okay, so this is like a filter which will filter. If the response is coming, then just go ahead. If the response is not coming, then you cannot go ahead, then the execution will be blocked here. States is not available means it will be undefined. That's why we are seeing undefined in the screen. This is really, really important. Later we'll see dynamically we'll be fetching data from our database, right? The database data will actually take some time to come into our React application. Then we need to wait until that time. And we don't know when that data will come. That's why if data is there, then go ahead. If data is not there, then stop here. That's why we'll use this question mark sign at that location. All right. So this is actually preventing us from accessing some variables which are not available there. So this is one concept. And another one is we have like knowledge coalescing operator. So I'm going to one more time console log the previous short circuiting things. So if I write hi and hello here, hi and hello, I'll get hello, right? Because AND operator, this logical AND operator is always searching for the truthy, always searching for the falsy value. So this is searching for the falsy value and it cannot find any falsy value here. That's why it will short circuit at the end. And now I'm seeing hello here. But if I write OR operator here, it will short circuit here because OR operator is searching for the truthy value. But sometimes you need to consider this also as a truthy value, 0. 0 is a number, right? You cannot say that 0 is actually nothing. 0 is actually sometimes a number which may be actually a value which is higher than other values. For example, if you have a number called -100, then 0 is greater than -100, right? It is greater than -100 by 100. That's why 0 is also, it has some value, right? 0 is not, we cannot say that 0 is nothing. So that's why we need to actually take this 0 in consideration sometimes as a value. Currently, if you save it now, you can see that hello is coming on the screen because it is treating this 0 as a false value. What I'm trying to say here is we need to take some time, so we need to treat this 0 as a truthy value instead of false value. At that time, we'll use something like this operator. And let me save it now. Now I'm seeing 0 here instead of hello. So this is introduced, I think, 2 years ago, 2 to 3 years ago, I think 2020 or 2021. I'm not sure, but this is recent operator added in JavaScript, and this is called a knowledge coalescing operator. So it will prevent a 0 becoming a false value. All right. So it will also print this, it will also make this empty string a truthy value as well. Now I'm seeing empty string. Essentially, this double question mark sign called knowledge coalescing operator is making that 0 and empty string truthy value. Previously, they were in the category of false value, right? Previously, I told you that 0 empty string is a false value, 0 is a false value, null is also a false value, right? And we saw that undefined is also a false value. And one more, that is not a number, right? Not a number is a false value. Do we have some more false values except this? Do we have something more for false values? Then previously we actually categorized this as a false value, but currently we are making
false.
this.
Is the false is false
Oh,
value?
false is also, yeah, that's right. Thank you. Yeah, false is also a false value. So previously
This will
we,
only
yeah, yes, ma'am.
this will only do it for 0 and empty,
Yeah, that's right.
or
So
for everything.
now we are actually removing this from this category and making this a truthy value. You can try others as well. For example, you can write false here and save it. Now we are printing this false here. So if I have this short circuiting here, now it is printing this as a, it is treating this as a false value. Now, if I have this double question mark here, it is making this as a truthy value. So let's go here, and this 3 seems to be not truthy value at all. Ooh, they seems to be like, if we make undefined a truthy value, this also doesn't make sense. Let's see. If I make undefined, if I write undefined here and save it, now this is not making this undefined or truthy value here. That's why it will not impact this undefined. And if you write null here, it is not also making this null or truthy value, because undefined and null will never be a truthy value. So not a number is also not considered as a truthy value. But what is this not a number actually? Why do we get not a number? When do we get not a number? If we want to perform something with number, right? Some operation with number. It is not a number, but it is at least a value, right? It is at least a value. It is not a number, but it is at least a value. That's why this is not affecting this not a number, and it is making this also a truthy value. It means now we have null and undefined left, and null and undefined are not impacted by this operator. That's why null and undefined will still remain false value, and we remove these 4 from this category and make those 4 truthy value. All right. If we need to make this truthy value, then only we'll use this knowledge coalescing operator. Otherwise, we'll still use this OR operator. Okay. Yeah, this is another operator available in JavaScript, and you know that this is also checking this truthy and false value, status of truthy and false value. I think we explored most of the things regarding modern JavaScript. More frequently, we will use short circuiting, AND operator and OR operator, and that spread operator, destructuring. This will be used most frequently. All right. Any question, guys? So now I want you to actually understand something regarding asynchronous JavaScript as well. So I told you that previously we will be actually accepting data from database. As a React developer, your most critical task is to deal with the data coming from your database. You will receive those data in the form of API, something called API. We'll talk about that later. But you'll have to deal with those data coming from your database, and you need to actually accept those data properly within your React application, right? So if you log in into your social media account like Facebook or Twitter, you will see only your data, right? Only your messages, not others' messages. You will not see my messages there into your account, right? So that's why you need to properly handle those data. Otherwise, that will not actually your application will not properly work as intended. So, but how do we actually accept that data from database? That is something regarding asynchronous JavaScript, and that is the very actually the difficult thing to learn in JavaScript as well as in React, and that is slightly difficult. That's why I'll go from really basic and all the way to the advanced concept like async await, the asynchronous JavaScript promises. We'll actually do all of those things, but let's today at least see how we can accept some data within our JavaScript application from our database. For that case, browser, this JavaScript has already provided us a API. API means you can say that a function that is called a fetch function that is already available. You can directly write here. You can directly write this fetch into your JavaScript file. Actually, this is not a part of JavaScript. Actually, this is provided by your browser. Currently, we are using Chrome, right? Chrome is providing you. If you are using this application in Mozilla Firefox, than Mozilla Firefox is providing you. So fetch is already there a function which is provided by you by the browser. You can use that fetch directly. Now let me write here inside this fetch you will write the URL like https google.com, something like this. So we are actually trying to interact with external websites now, external servers, you can say, external database, you can say, and later we'll call it an API actually. So, and we will store the result in some variable in JavaScript. You can say result or output. But this will not work currently. So if I now print it, console log, and print the output, it will not give me the data. It will give me something called promise. And it says access is denied actually. So let's go and see what is API and what are the APIs that are available for us to actually practice. You can just search for GitHub public API. And you can just open this one. Let's go all the way down. There are a lot of lists here. You can just search any of them. For example, let's go all the way up, and here are many categories. You can just click on animals, and here are all the APIs related to animals. Let me click on cats. It's the cats API, docs.cats API. I think this is not properly working currently at this moment. Let me go and open another one, docs API. Let's see. Okay, this is working. So let me use this one, okay? So we have this API here. And if you now open this URL in your browser here, you will actually receive some data. And such kind of URLs are called APIs. Okay, such kind of URLs from where you will get data. You can refer those as APIs currently. And you will have a lot of different, you will have multiple URLs. The main URL may be the same. For example, here you will have something different like something like dog, something like this. So they will be already created by your backend developer. You will be working as a front-end developer and somebody else will be working as a backend developer. They will give you such kind of URL to you and you will call them API. So you will ask your backend developer, hey, give me that API. I need to show this data in my React application. You need to give me that API. So he will create an API for you and he will provide you some URL to you. And you need to actually accept that URL and accept it in your React application and print that data in your application. So currently you can tell this as API, this URL. So I am actually using this URL into my where am I? I think, oh, and so I am now using that URL right here. So I told you that we will actually write API here. This is the URL from where we will get the data related to dog. So let me save it once again. Once again, it is showing me a promise. So there is a concept, something called promise. Actually, you can understand this in this way. So you want to access some data, right? You want to access some data. You want to get some data from that API. And your JavaScript application will not directly give you that data. Because it will take some time to get that data from that server. That's why your JavaScript application will say that, hey, I cannot actually give you that data immediately, but I promise I will give you the data eventually. But that promise doesn't mean that JavaScript application will give you the exact data to you. But your JavaScript has promised to you that it will provide you data. That data may have error. That data may have something useful to you or something not useful to you. But at least your JavaScript application will give you something coming from that API. it will at least say to you that, hey, this is the thing I got, and you can now, if you want, then you can use it. If you don't want, then you can discard it. So your JavaScript application will promise you at first, will not give you data immediately, will promise you, and it will give you data after some time. This is called asynchronous JavaScript. If something is not coming immediately, if something is actually coming after some delay, then that is called asynchronous JavaScript, means we are not getting data immediately, it is taking some time. Okay, and the promise is a concept related to asynchronous JavaScript. All right, so how can we get that data then? So browser has promised us previously, sorry, your JavaScript application has promised to you previously. Now, when do you receive that? When will your JavaScript fulfill that promise? When will you actually receive the correct data you want? For that purpose, you will write something called await. And now you are waiting for that promise. You are waiting for that promise. Previously, your JavaScript application has promised to you. Now you are waiting for that promise. And after your wait is completed, you will get the output. Let me save it now. And it says await is only valid in async function and the top bodies of the module. So what is this module? Actually, in React, you don't have to worry about these things. React has already created something called modules to you. But let me go here and try to do this thing. Okay, try to write type equals to, I don't know, modules. Will work or not? modules. We save it now. Not providing anything right now. Writing types module currently not working. So yeah, let me remove it then. So actually what is happening there is you cannot await, you cannot use await directly here in this way. What you need to do is create a function. It says it is only valid inside some functions. That function needs to be a async function. So what you need to do is create a function, and the function name is get dog data. You can say anything, okay? And this is a function declaration I'm using. And now I want to write this inside this function. Okay, and I will actually use this output here. And here it says await expression are only allowed within async function. Now what you need to do is write a keyword called async at the beginning of your function name. Sync here. Now everything will work. Now this is a async function because I told you that this is called asynchronous JavaScript. That's why we are writing async here. And we can now only write await here. That's why it was previously saying await is only valid inside async function. That's why we are now writing await inside async function. Now let's call this function, otherwise it will not execute, right? Let's call this function and let me now save it, and we will see the data on the console. Can you see? If you expand this one, actually we can see something, but actual data is not there still. Let's see. Still actual data is not coming in the console. This is the data actually. It includes an image. Actually, this is the image URL. If you open it in new tab, you will get the image. This is the image that you want in your React application or currently in your JavaScript application. The status is success, but we are still not getting that one here. What you need to do is you need to one more time write await and write output dot JSON, and this is the final output. And let's print that final output here and save it now. Now, can you see? You are now getting this data here. This is the message which is containing the image URL. And now this is the status. you can, if you want, you can just print that message from here, right? MASSAGE. And now you have this image URL. Now you can click here and open this image. And this is how we will deal with asynchronous JavaScript. This is how we will get data from our external server, some database, or you can tell it like, you can call it an API. This is how we will get data from API using a simple JavaScript function. If you remove this async await keyword, this is a simple JavaScript function, isn't it? Simple JavaScript function, right? Inside there we have output variable. We are using this fetch function. Inside this fetch function, we are writing the URL. And what are we doing here? We'll talk this thing a little bit more in the future session. This is needed because this output is still something called promise, and we'll need to actually resolve that promise. That's why we need this line. That's why we wrote this, and finally we are getting this output here. What we added is just 3 lines here: await here, and async here. This will actually give you the data coming from your API. Now you can replace this URL with any other URL that you have from your API, and that will work. Right? Did you understand a little bit how we can actually get data from external URL? Any question or confusion, guys?
It makes sense, but it makes sense.
Yeah, unless we use it, it will still have some confusion. That's why we'll use it in.
I don't understand why using await and then await again with JSON.
Yeah,
I think you're looking for JSON format. Otherwise,
Yes.
it doesn't know how to fetch it.
That's right. That's right. Currently, you can say that previously we are outputting this output directly in our console, right? We are printing this output directly in our console, and we are not seeing that data in our console because our data will always come in JSON format. That's right. Our data will always come in JSON format from our API. That's why now we are converting that JSON format to our JavaScript object with this line of code. And we'll talk about this code a little in future as well. Okay, if you see this output carefully here, it's like JavaScript object, right? Property here, value here, and comma here, another property here. You can actually install an extension called JSON formatter in your Chrome. I installed that extension already here. This is called JSON formatter. You can just search for this extension and install it on your Chrome. It will help you guys. And then now hit this URL on this Chrome, and now you will see those data in some user-friendly readable format. Now, can you see this is like a JavaScript object, isn't it? But what's the difference that you can see there? Can you make your JavaScript object using this syntax? We'll store it in some variable like const object equals to, and we'll write curly brace. And is it same as JavaScript object, or there is some difference?
I think this is the JSON format, which is different from that.
Yeah, and what is the difference that you can see? Apart from that
Don't see any
JSON
const or object or.
Yeah, we'll write that. That's left, but we'll write that. But what is the difference within this highlighted syntax?
Message is also inside double quotation in status. So there's now no variable assigned.
Yeah, that's the difference. That's right. That's right. This property are within double quote here. So in JSON format, we'll write property and the value within double quote. In JavaScript as well, you can write it in double quote. We'll see that one as well in future sessions. But in JSON, we will write that in JSON file.json, and property name will be in double quote here. and that file extension needs to be in JSON format. Yeah, this is the main difference. If you directly see here, you will see this property in double quote. Essentially, we are converting this JSON format to our JavaScript object with this syntax here, with line number 3. Okay. Makes sense?
Yes.
If you remove this await, it will not work. You can try it. Okay. So sometimes later, you can try removing await from
So
here.
it always needs to be async.
Yes, it always needs to be async if you want to deal with APIs. APIs means external URL, right? URL or data. If you want to deal with database, it always needs to be async. Otherwise, you cannot work with those external things like URLs. Async means you need to wait a little bit. If you want to wait a little bit, then you need to wait async. Why do we want to wait here? Because it will take some time, right? That data is coming from somewhere else, somewhere from your database. It will take time. It will not print immediately. There is some location in your JavaScript actually called call stack. JavaScript is actually slightly different from other programming languages like Python or Java or C++. Because those Java, if you know Java or Python, if you just have heard about those other programming languages, they have a concept called multi-threading. Multi-threading means they have multiple locations to execute same thing in parallel. They can execute same thing in parallel at the same time in multiple locations. You can say that they have multiple locations or multiple. Do you know multiprocessor? Your laptop is multiprocessor. Have you heard about such kind of thing? Multiprocessor is similar to multi-threading. They have multiple processing units. But JavaScript actually doesn't have multi-threading concept. It only have a single thread. It only have a single executing location. You can say that JavaScript only have a single processor, single thread. That's why JavaScript doesn't have multiple parallel location to execute same thing at the same time. That's why it needs to wait if you want to execute such kind of thing. If you want to actually grab something from your external API, then you need to wait. Because in that same location, you need to execute a lot of things, right? That's why JavaScript is not good for data processing, machine learning, artificial intelligence. Every programming languages have their own use cases. Like Python is really good to do data science things, like artificial intelligence things. JavaScript is not good to stream your videos. JavaScript is not good to actually process your videos. JavaScript is good for web development actually. That's why we're doing React with JavaScript. But if you want to actually build, if you want to make a robot and inject artificial intelligence logic into it, then you need to use some other programming language. If you want if you need high processor, and if you want to actually execute a lot of things in real time, then you need to use other programming language. That's why JavaScript is slightly different. It only have a single processor, single thing to execute something. That's why we need to use async there. This is compulsory actually. All right. So we will talk about these things in future as well with React. So we will use async there as well. Okay. We need to use async. In React, we have some hooks called use effect, something like that. Effect hook. We'll actually capture our API response in there as well. We are now going to implement these things in React. But before going into React, we need to practice a lot of things regarding JavaScript. Now, I think conceptual things are almost completed. Now we will practice a lot of real use case questions from the next session, and we'll see how to deal with some of the problems, and then only we'll move to React. All right, guys? Is this fine? I think we will stop this session here for today. And I'll just accept your questions from here. let's talk for a few minutes and then we'll end this session. Yeah, you can ask me anything if you have some confusion regarding any field. Okay, you don't need to ask me regarding JavaScript or React. If you want to ask me something which are off topic, then we can discuss for a few minutes and then we'll sign off. Yeah, guys, any confusion or questions?
Would you just please switch to your index.html real quick for me?
Okay. So in your React application, we only have a div here inside body, right? A div and a div with ID called root. This is only the HTML we'll write in your React application. And if you see in your React app, we don't have this tag, this syntax called script. React will handle it actually. We have something called import export instead of script. That's why we don't have it. React is handling this thing already. Because this is simple JavaScript and HTML, that's why we're writing a script to link these two files together. In React, we will only have this line of code. And this will work if you copy this code and paste it in your index.html in React.
Yeah, Gorak, I have a question. So div ID equals to root would be pointing to app.js here in the React.
Yeah, in React, it is pointing to not app.js. There is another file called index.js. In that index.js, there you will see somewhere get element by ID, something like that. And that line is actually accessing this div element.
Okay.
So let's do that one. I think that is also an important question. I want to access this element from HTML body into this JavaScript app.js file. So for that case, in React, we can directly write this div right here inside JavaScript, right? In React, what we can do is we can write const element equals this line of code. This is perfectly valid in React, but it is not valid in JavaScript actually. So React is also .js extension, but the environment is configured in that way. There is some package called Babel, which is handling those things for you in React, but here we don't have that tool. That's why if I save it now, we'll have some error. That's why we cannot write HTML within JavaScript here. So how can I access this HTML from here on line number 11, which is inside index.html, into this app.js JavaScript file? Do anybody have some idea how can I access that one here?
Query selector.
Yeah, query selector. So what is that query selector? Where is it coming from?
It's coming from JavaScript document.
Okay, that's something important. I think let's discuss for that document for a few minutes. Actually, document is not a part of JavaScript. That is actually providing you, your browser is actually providing you that document. That's why if you write document here, you will see this document, and that document is nothing but your HTML. If you expand it here, it is actually showing you property. Let me make it slightly smaller and try to refresh one more time. Now I'm seeing HTML, right? Document is nothing but your HTML, entire HTML. It is called DOM as well. This is actually a document object model. It consists of a lot of properties as well. So if I make it slightly smaller, you'll see if I refresh it now, it will now show you some property. If I now write console.dir instead of log here, it will show me properties associated with the document here. These are the properties, all the properties associated with the document. And don't be confused, guys. I'm removing this one for now, okay? Just talking about this document. Don't be confused. This document is not a part of JavaScript. This is actually provided by your browser. Okay, your browser. This browser, this Google Chrome is providing your document. If you are using Mozilla Firefox, then that is providing your document. So this is also called browser API because your browser is providing you something, right? Browser is providing you something that is called browser API. This document is nothing but object, right? Object has a lot of properties. This also have a lot of properties. This is a really big object in JavaScript. You can see here. So if you expand, you have something called prototype. In object, you will have prototype, right? It's every object will have prototype. Let me expand this object. Still, we have this prototype here. Prototype chain. So let me expand this one more time. A lot of properties are here. And finally, you will see something that you just mentioned called query selector here. Actually, that is coming from your document. And you have other properties as well. Let me source here. I think instead of scrolling, let me source here called get element by ID. And now just open your React app and inside that index.js, you'll see this line of code somewhere, get element by ID. This is helping you to actually access this div from your HTML into your JavaScript. So now what you can do is write document, and inside that document you have get element by ID, right? You can directly write document.get element by ID, get element by ID, and that is a function, right? You can see F here, function. So now what you need to do is write the name of the ID, that is root here. Now I'm writing root here. Now we have successfully accessed this div from your HTML into your JavaScript. Now let me save it in element, element, and finally I'll print it in console. Now I'm just going to save it. Oh, it is not getting me properly. It is saying null somehow.
Don't you need has?
Has here.
Yeah, I thought like
I
has
think
was
we need has, but I think let's see. Oh, I think we can directly write the name of the ID here and it should work. Oh, okay. And the problem is this line of code here on line number 7. What is happening is we are executing JavaScript on line number 7 before executing this line number 11. So JavaScript is executing on line number 7. Everything will execute sequentially. It means line number 1, line number 2, line number 3, line number 4, line number 5, 6, 7. Now line number 7 is executing. It doesn't know what is here. These are not executed, okay? Line number 7 is executing means this thing is executing here. And we are trying to access the root, right? Currently in line number 7, we don't have that root, that div element. That's why if you bring this down after this div, now it will work. Now let me save it, and it is working here. So we are actually executing JavaScript before executing HTML. This is not good. We need to execute HTML first and then JavaScript later. That's why sometimes you will see this thing here called defer. Defer means it is now postponing the execution. It will execute this code later in the future after HTML is executed. Now, if you write defer here, it will also work. Okay. So that's why this line of code is there in your React application to target your div from your HTML. All right, guys, this is fine. I think my battery is almost dead, so I think we'll end this session here. So do you want to ask me something? Any question, guys?
Yeah, how are you able to access the console log from your app.js on the browser?
You mean I'm writing console log here, and how can I see it in this console, right?
Yeah, is there a way you're connecting it on index.html? Because I can't quite seem to be able to see console log.
Actually, we connected this app.js to index.html already. Whole application app.js here on line number 7.
Okay.
Yeah, we already
But
connected. Yeah.
do you have to run it before you can see anything that would console log?
Oh, since I am running live server here, it will actually run automatically. After I save each and every time, it will rerun this code. Yeah.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Okay, then can we end this session for today? If you don't have any questions. Okay, so I think we'll meet tomorrow and explore, practice a lot of things that we just learned regarding JavaScript. And we haven't done things regarding CSS as well. I think we need to do something regarding CSS. CSS is not that much complex. That's why I am actually skipping some of those things from there. But at least we'll see the basic concepts that we need that are important. And we'll move to JavaScript. Focus mainly on JavaScript with React. Okay. All right, so thank you so much, guys. I'll meet you tomorrow. So thank you for staying with me. So
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
thank you
you.
guys. Really appreciate it. Goodbye. Have a good day. Good night.
Good night.
Mhm.